Hello! Summer is actually finally here! I'm not really excited for summer, but I'm excited for summer books. I feel like everybody has a different definition for what they read for the summer. But for some reason, I feel like summer books are super particular for me. They tend to fall into 4 categories. So today I'll be sharing with you some summer book recommendations in my 4 summer books categories, if that makes sense. So the first one is books that are actually set in the summer. A prime example are any of Morgan Matson's books that failed. A prime example are any Morgan Matson books. If you haven't read any of Morgan Matson's books, I highly recommend starting with Since You've Been Gone. I think it's just the first Morgan Matson book that I read and I really enjoyed it. It's probably still one of my favorites, even though she's released 2 since I read this. It's just really entertaining and filled with summer feelings, and that's like how I feel about all of Morgan Matson's books. She's like one of my favorite authors. Although I have to say, like, the most recent book that she released is not set in the summer, so that's kind of cheating, but not really. Like, you could still read her book and you could still have like the same summery feelings. So Morgan Matson's books. Another book that I really like set in the summer is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. It's actually one of my favorite books from last year, and it's a super cute summer contemporary that I would highly recommend to people who really like films, because it's like a spin-off of You Got Mail and it's just really cute. Yes. So this is a book set in summer that I actually haven't read yet, and it is Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. I actually went to Siobhan Vivian's signing / launch event while I was in New York. Yeah, because I didn't read it yet. I didn't really know what it's about, but I just know that it's super feminist and it's about this girl working in an ice cream shop over the summer. It's a summer job. So yay! Ice cream and summer, like, can it get more summer than this? And look at the colors. It's blue and yellow and pink. It's just so summer, if that makes sense. The last book or author on my summer books, like actual summer books, is any of Cassie West's books. So this is Listen to Your Heart, which was the most recently released one, and I haven't read yet. And the thing about Cassie West is I don't think that most of her books are actually set in summer, but they just feel like a summer book. Like, you would read it and it just feels like a contemporary. They're all really lighthearted, really cute, really fun. Like how you imagine this cover and this font and this whole book to look like, I think is a perfect representation of how the book actually is, even though I haven't read this specific one. She's written so many, but my favorite is probably the first one I read by her, which is called The Fillin Boyfriend, because that was like super cute but also had a lot of deeper meanings. I really enjoyed The Fillin Boyfriend. That was one of my all-time faves. Which kind of brings me to my next category, contemporary / fluffy / entertaining books. Now, these are books that are entertaining. Like, I know some people read books to actually, I don't know, it sounds bad to say, get something out of them, like learn something, like have a deeper revelation or whatever, but then there are some books that exist for pure entertainment, and those books are awesome. They're so great, and I feel like those are wonderful summer books. I guess Cassie West's book kind of go into that category, but not really. But yeah, onto the contemporary / fluffy books, my faves. The first one is obviously Crazy Rich Asians. Are you really surprised? I feel like I keep talking about this book, but this entire series is just entertaining to the dot. It's just so fun, so entertaining. That's the only way I could describe it. So much fun. It's pretty much like watching a TV show. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Another really good, entertaining, fluffy, contemporary series is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And I didn't realize, but both of these books are becoming movies, and they're coming out in the summer, so you should definitely read these 2 before the summer ends. And they both have Asian leads. Oh my god. I also really liked what I was doing with this diagonal thing. That was not intentional. So, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. When I originally read this book the first time around, I was not a fan. I really liked the aesthetics because it just feels so great, but I didn't understand it because I think I was trying to look too into it. But it's just really cute. and a really, really fun series. Also, I think I didn't really like it because when this came out, it was only a novel and it ended on a cliffhanger, and I was like, this is an unsatisfying ending. I'm upset. But no, there are more books, so yay! If you don't know what it's about, this is pretty much about this girl named Laura Jean who writes letters to boys she has crushes on in a coping mechanism to like get over them. One day, the letters that she wrote to all the boys she loved before, which are 5, they all get sent out to the boys, and she's like, God help me. This is becoming a Netflix movie, and I feel like the trailer for the movie does a really good job at describing and like giving the synopsis and giving everything without really spoiling. My final one in this category is also one of my faves from this year and of all time, and it is The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen. Oh my god. Huh. Okay, this is actually another book that's set in summer, but I put it under the contemporary / fluffy category because I feel like it was just so entertaining, so fluffy, it's so wonderful, and it had like everything you could ever ask for, at least for me. Wonderful friendships, wonderful family, wonderful like relationships, and just everything in general. I'm obsessed. And also it's set in LA. It's like a love letter to LA, and my heart is happy. And also look at this cover. This cover is so gorgeous. I can't get over it. Like the blues and the pinks and the sunset feeling. It's so summer. If you haven't read this, you have to read this. If you don't read it in the summer, you can also read it in like the spring, because I feel like this could be a good spring / summer book. It's pretty much about this girl named Clara who has to work in her dad's food truck for the summer as her summer job, and it's like punishment for something horrible she did, and she has to work with her like worst enemy at school because they're both being punished and they have to learn how to work together. Stuff happens. That's pretty much it. My next category are books that are in long ass series. Normally I feel like in the summer most people have more time to read, but for me I don't have more time to read. I'm actually the opposite. I have like less time to read during the summer, but whatever. It just gives me those feelings like when you're in school still and you have summer break and you have nothing to do for the summer, and so you just like read a bunch, and when you're reading a bunch you want to read a lot, and so you read long ass series. The first #1 recommendation for a huge series are like any books by Cassandra Clare. She writes the biggest books and the longest series, and you have to read all of them. Normally long series are fantasies and like super intense fantasies, and I know how some people can feel that summer is only for contemporaries, but I feel like summer is for contemporary, like cute fluffy contemporary, entertaining contemporary, and also high intense super long series. If you haven't read any Cassandra Clare book, just read it in order of publication. City of Bones is the first one that she published. Personally, I'm not a big fan of City of Bones, and the second one, City of Ashes, is even worse, and so get to the third book. It'll just get better from then. I'm staring at my books, like the shelf over there, because I couldn't even take all the books out and show it to you, and so for the next series, I'm just getting the first book, and it'll be enough. After you're done reading Cassandra Clare books, or before you start reading Cassandra Clare books, you should read any and every book by Riordan. Okay, I'm kind of guilty because I haven't read all of Riordan's books, especially the newer ones, but you have to read Percy Jackson. Read all the feelings. After you read Percy Jackson, then you read the huge Heroes of Olympus books that are ginormous. Ginormous in comparison to Percy Jackson, because these are like short and sweet and hilarious. Oh, if you haven't read Percy Jackson, what are you doing with your life? Like I think people just assume that when they get to a certain age and they're like older that, oh, Percy Jackson are childish and I don't need to read those books anymore. That's like the same as if you said that about Harry Potter. How most people feel about Harry Potter is how I feel about Percy Jackson. Like everyone has to read Percy Jackson. Go read Percy Jackson. After you read Percy Jackson, you could read like all of his spin-off series because they kind of connect together in the same way that Cassandra Clare does her spin-off series. They all connect together in the same world, and I feel like the same goes for Riordan, except for his Kane Chronicles books. He does Easter eggs, and actually now that I say that, Maureen Matson also does Easter eggs in her books. So if you read like one of her books, then you read another book, you'll find this like Easter eggs for her other characters. Sarah Dessen does that too, and Sarah Dessen is actually a really good summer contemporary. I'm just Going off on a spiel. I'm recommending so many books. So to all the people who are like, I have nothing to read this summer, well, you're welcome. The last one in my super long series is the Gallagher Girl series. These are the new paperback covers, and I don't really want to say they're new because like I think the paperbacks have been out for 2 years, but this is an old series and this is so good. I think there are 6 books and they're all tiny. They're like this big. So great. If you like spies, CIA, and just like really cool spies. The first book is called I Tell You I Love You, But Then I Have to Kill You. I don't think the first book is a really good representation of the rest of the books because I feel like the rest of the books actually connect together, but the first book is pretty much like her having a crush on this guy that she's not supposed to have a crush on, and then she has to kill him. It's just like, and then in the next series, like he kind of becomes irrelevant. I'm sorry if that's a kind of spoiler. You have to read the first book so you read the rest of them because the rest of them are actually like high quality. I think I reread this recently. I think last year, 2 years ago, like when I got these paperbacks. I say like recently and that's like 2 years ago because I originally read the series the first time as they were coming out, and I feel like that was when I was 10. That felt like 10 years ago. Is this their 10th anniversary like paperback editions? Is that why they released these paperbacks? Oh my god, yeah. It's been 10 years. Okay, yeah. These books came out 10 years ago and they're still so good. Like, I feel like nobody talks about these. They're so high quality. I love them. That's like mostly it, except I have another category, but this is like specific to each person, so it's not really specific for a book, and that is rereads. When it's the summer, I for some reason feel a very strong urge to reread like everything, and it's usually series. I don't know why. I never feel like I need to reread contemporaries, even though I often do reread contemporaries, but for the summer I don't really like rereading contemporaries. It's really weird, but I feel like a really strong urge to reread Percy Jackson, but the feeling is kind of over, and so Percy Jackson is stuck in the long series, and I feel like it fits because Riordan has so many series, and so yeah. But hold on. Okay, this summer I still kind of feel, but not really, but I felt really compelled to reread my favorite series, The Darkest Minds. Mostly because I had a copy of The Darkest Legacy, which is the companion novel to the series that is coming out at the end of July. I have an advanced copy of that. And I wanted to reread The Darkest Minds to fully appreciate the characters and the story before starting on The Darkest Legacy. But the thing is that like as I'm filming this, I already started The Darkest Legacy, so I guess that's kind of redundant. But if you haven't read The Darkest Minds, you have to read it before the movie comes out and before The Darkest Legacy. I would highly recommend rereading it if you have time. I decided not to reread it because I know I don't have a lot of time to read. The Darkest Minds. I actually was not going to include this book on my list, but the thing is that I actually started rereading this book on a whim, randomly. It started with me listening to Halsey's Gasoline, and it just reminded me of The Raven Boys. This is the second book of The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, and there's a lot of like driving in The Dream Thieves. There's a lot of, I was gonna say there's a lot of Ronin, but if you haven't read the Raven Boys series, that wouldn't make any sense, but there's a lot of Ronin. Ronin is one of the characters of the Raven Boys, that's why. So yeah, there's a lot of Ronin. Whenever I think of cars, I just think of Ronin and like gasoline and like speeding and like high intensity cars. I just think of Ronin, and so I really wanted to reread The Dream Thieves, and then as I was reading The Dream Thieves, I was like, oh my god, I forgot how good this series is. Wow! Wow. High quality stuff. The thing is, when I first read The Raven Cycle, I actually was not a fan of The Dream Thieves or Blue Lily, Lily Blue, which is the third book. I thought they were okay, but now I'm rereading it and I'm like, wow, so good! And I feel like I want to reread this. That's pretty much it for all of the summer books that I'm recommending you. That's a lot. Do you see this stack? The Darkest Minds is flipped. There you go. There's a lot of books, and most of them are series that you just need to read the whole series, and so there's like a lot more. If you don't know what to read, and if you don't know what you like, then you can read all of them. But if you like contemporary / summary books, then read the contemporary / summary books. And if you like long series, then go read the series. I feel like It's so simple. I hope you're having an amazing summer. If you have any summery summer books that you like to read during the summer, then leave them in comments below. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!